Hello and welcome to the I Love You Bet podcast. I'm Heather and this is my sister,
Rian. Each week we will revisit relics of our childhoods using our multiple master's degrees
to critically evaluate the crap that consumed our misspent youth. So join us,
sisters, latchkey kids, cuspers, and lazy feminists as we look back at our past to say, I love you, but...
Rant away, dear sister.
So one way that I wasted time this week is I went to brunch with friends, which that part isn't a waste of time because it's my good friends who, you see those memes that are like, about friends and how they're like, let's get together. Like, yeah. And then it's like 12 months later, that's us. So we finally got together. It had been months. So we went to brunch at this restaurant here in Lexington that I really like, and I have for a long time. It has terrible service, but the food is amazing. You are not a fan of this place. I'm pretty sure that it was the first time I'd been to brunch there since, like, the last time I went to brunch there, I was pregnant. So.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because then, COVID happened, and then even when they opened back up, they didn't start brunch, and then I had a kid. I don't know, whatever. And brunch is expensive.
It doesn't do well in restaurants, so.
Yeah. But, can I just tell you how much I long for the decade of 2005 to 2015? Which I think that when you start longing for a previous decade of your life is when you know that you're old.
Yeah. Yeah.
I want the jeans that Old Navy had from 2005 to 2015. I want the indie rock music that we had.
Mm-hmm.
I want to drink giant cans of PBR.
I mean, they still sell those.
I know, but it's not cool. I want to go back to the hipster heyday of 2005 to 2015, and it makes me feel so old. I know you don't know about this because you don't really go to restaurants very often, or not the same kind of restaurants I go to.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just tired of trends. I fucking hate trends. Why do you have to crumple your grease paper and put it under things? The white, deli paper that they put on thing, now they crumple it. So basically, I feel like I'm eating trash because you had to, crumple this paper. And it's I don't know. And then I get this Bloody Mary and they bring it out and, all the fancy places do the skewers or whatever. So it's got this skewer of all these homemade pickles, no actual cucumber pickle.
Oh, just other things pickled.
An onion and a
marshmallow,
olive and a baby carrot and a regular carrot and a slice of beet. And all I wanted, so the only thing I ate was, I tried the corn. I was this is like dirty corn, corn dirt. But then on each end of the skewer, there is one has a mini bag of Takis.
Mm-hmm.
And the other end, and so if you follow me on Instagram, you saw me post this, has a wrapped string cheese with a Disney princess on it.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm this is the trashy, I laughed really hard when they brought it to me. I'm not going to lie. It was oh my God. But it's the more I think about it, I'm just give me a fucking Bloody Mary and don't charge me $20. I want the alcohol and the tomato. That is what I want. And then, I got the food, and the food is great. The food is still wonderful. It was so good. Right. That hasn't changed, but it's I don't this crumpled up deli paper does nothing for me. It does nothing for me. It doesn't make the food more attractive or more appetizing. It doesn't make me feel cool. I feel like a fucking chump. And my friend Emily and I went to this restaurant a few months ago for dinner, and and that was the first time I saw the crumpled, and I was what is this? And we're maybe they just went out, and so they had to
that's not happening in Dallas. That's not happening
but
here.
It's happening on Instagram though. I see it on Instagram because I saw it and I was what the fuck, is this a thing, or is this just they fucked up and ran out and they've got to reuse it? I don't know what's happening. And then I started noticing it on Instagram posts.
Who's being paid to crumple these papers? Why?
Right? Who working in a kitchen Like, are they doing it on the Bear? Is that what's happening? Like,
No, I have not seen this on Bear, though.
it's got to be Brooklyn. Like, I feel like if I went, so I feel like to me, this restaurant has always been like if I were in Brooklyn. Like when I'm there, I'm like, this is what it's like to be in Brooklyn.
Well, then that means it was actually happening in Brooklyn like 5 years ago.
Well, probably, yeah. So I don't know, but I feel so old because of my longing for and also perimenopause. Those two things. And I'm sure the hormones of perimenopause are also what's making me mad about fucking crumpled deli paper and fucking Takis and a string cheese. Like,
well, in good news, I think I'm depressed. So I'm not about anything.
I'm going to make a new podcast rule. You're not allowed to be funny when I'm drinking coffee.
Oh,
No spit takes. We have a no spit take rule. Okay, I don't disagree with that statement.
Yeah. So I need you to do me a favor. I need you to text me every evening and demand that I tell you something positive.
Okay. See, now I was going to go with the same with you because I was going to text your mom yesterday to tell you that I went to the pool. And every time I text you, I'll tell you I did something good. I think about how the fact that I only ever text you when I do something good.
Okay.
And I might need you all to hold me more accountable. Like, to like text me every morning and be like, what'd you do this morning?
Oh, okay.
Or like, when are you going to the pool?
Okay.
Or something like that. So I will text you in the evenings. I'll put it on my Finch app of my daily to-dos.
Okay.
To text Heather and make you tell me something positive.
Okay.
Really positive, or like could it be like something you're grateful for?
That would be a positive. You can just positive.
Okay. Daily positivity check.
Yeah.
It's a brag test. Holla.
My acupuncturist made me do it last night, and I was grateful to her because I was like, literally, like a friend texted me yesterday that I haven't heard from in a long time, and was like, "I would like to reestablish contact," and I was like, "No." I got nothing good to say. And the amount of time it would spend for me to like reestablish contact with you, I would rather put into writing or doing anything else. Like, I don't have time for more friends.
Will you put who it is in the chat so I can see it? Who it is? Oh God, Elliot. All right, start again.
How about I just text you real fast?
Yeah, text it to me, whatever. Yeah,
text I think you'll be fine with it when you know who it is. But
okay.
Also, if they listen to this podcast now, it's super awkward, but well,
yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah, no, you ain't got time for that.
Yeah. I did have time to.
Sorry about it. You listen to this podcast person.
I did have time to make a joke video for our friend Monique.
That was pretty good. That was pretty good. Like, I was like, she's making fun. I knew you were making fun of something.
Yeah.
But I didn't know. I love how I hear mom in the background. Like,
yeah,
while it, like, Heather. Like, hold on. So you can tell you're not a professional vlogger or whatever.
Well,
influencer because you like didn't stop it again.
Yeah, no, that got posted and it got shared with close friends, which I had to define in the moment because I hadn't set that up. And so my close friends on Instagram are you and Monique. So you two are the only people that can access that video. Because I don't want to hurt anybody's feelings.
But sometimes people are ridiculous.
Dude, she was telling me the story. So hypothetically, our friend was stuck in another state for a little while doing an out-of-state job. And several of our other friends went to go and visit her.
Which is so nice.
So nice. So generous. Like, hey, friend, you're stuck. I'm going to come see you. Cool.
This is the benefit of being friends with old retired people.
Yes, they have nothing else to do. And so, friend,
fuck your shit up.
the traveler, did the thing that a lot of people do when you stay with them, where they're like, here's some breakfast options, help yourself. Everyone knows how to make breakfast, right? And so the guest opted for cereal, which is quite an easy option. Well, the traveler didn't feel like she needed to pour the cereal for her guest. And this is how that went down. The traveler looked at the box.
Oh no. Okay. I'll stop telling your story. I'm sorry.
The traveler, you haven't even heard the story from the source. Quit it.
Yes, I have. You told me last night.
Oh, yeah, but I didn't tell you. So
also wasn't so another reason I shouldn't tell your goddamn story.
There was a sealed box of cereal, so unopened. The traveler proceeded to unseal the box perfectly normal. Now, a sane person leaves the bag in the box because otherwise it's really hard to get the box to close when you put the bag back in.
It floats.
The traveler pulled the whole unopened bag out of the box. And then we get to the next logical step, which is you either cut the corner or you tear the corner, because then you got yourself a nice little spout, right? No. Traveler rips the fucking bag open from the middle like a maniac. And then there is no pouring, y'all. Traveler sticks their grubby paw
like a fucking claw machine. Like a goddamn claw machine that wins and loses simultaneously every time.
Shoves their grubby paw in there, pulls some cereal out, puts it in the bowl, shoves their grubby paw in there, and of course the person traveling is like, I don't even do that with my own cereal. That was like, well, I'm a little bit of a psychopath because I do a mix. Like, I'll pour and then I reach my hand into my own cereal and eat a handful of it. But it's my fucking cereal. So, and again, I pour most of it.
Here's the thing. You know what?
Yeah.
All this tells me is that person did not get any kind of sugary cereal, or nor did they get sugary cereal for their kids. Because the way you learn, if you don't understand physics, right? Some people don't, but the way you learn not to take a bag of cereal out of the box is when you are a kid from the 80s looking for the fucking toy. Like if you're looking, because that's how I learned. So I learned is like I'd pull the brand new bag out and rip the fucker open because I wanted the goddamn toy.
Right.
Because that's how I chose cereal every week when we went to the store, was looking to see which one had the best toy.
Right.
And that's, and then you put it back in and you're like, shake it. You gotta shake it and squeeze it. God damn. The fuck is wrong with people?
So my friend told me this story. And again, so filled with gratitude for this visitor to coming to see her and all this, but just told me this story. And I could not get it out of my head, but it was like right before I went to Canada. So I had to wait. And finally yesterday, I had enough time to go and my errands lined up to get an unopened box of cereal and then do a video with no sound and no talking, where I just stared into the camera like a maniac and recreated this scene for her.
That story of that person doing that, like in that situation, is like a definition of I love you, but.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe we should just change the podcast where people like send us their I love you but story.
Yeah, that'd be great. We would love to hear your conditional love stories.
Yes.
Fantastic. Because we all love our family. Well, we don't all love our family. Some people are really, truly awful, terrible
people. Yeah. We all love people who also test that love.
Yes. Yes. By doing maniacal things.
Yes, like ridiculous things that so.
Any other? I see you have a whole list of ways that you wasted time this week.
I do have a list of ways. I was gonna tell you the other one I've been wanting to tell you about. So I want to go through my list. Some of them are short. You can edit out whatever you want. I'd watched the new Beverly Hills Cop movie. I actually think I did that before our last podcast, but I forgot.
That was in a movie? I thought it was a TV show.
No, it was a movie.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And I like Joseph. Oh, now I'm going to forget. Was it Joseph Gordon-Levitt was in it?
Yeah.
Yeah. No, it was a movie. It was surprisingly good.
Okay.
Like I was not expecting it to be very good. And it was good. So you should, and I thought that relates to our podcast. So everybody check that out. It's, I finished the book that I was reading, the 500-page Other Bennett Sister book.
Yeah.
And I returned it to, Elliot and I were out running errands on Saturday. And so I drove through the library to drop it off and return it. And he was like, what?
Because it was a 500-page book.
But he was like, but Elliot had a lovely conversation because he was like, is it just going to automatic? Like he was kind of, I can't remember how I said it, but basically he was asking me like, is it automatically just going to go get put back on the shelf, like from the Dropbox?
Mm-hmm.
But no. And so he asked me, which I think is a very insightful question for a 5-year-old. He asked me what the book was about.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And so then I had to try to explain not only the plot of Pride and Prejudice, but the second plot about how it's about this other sister who wasn't really in the first book. And I was like, does that make sense? And he's like, nah, not really.
Man, Mary would have opened cereal like that, no joke. Like, that is how Mary Bennett opens cereal.
I think you should read the book. It was really good.
Okay.
It was really good. And it's a first book from someone who worked for the BBC for years.
Yeah.
So, I mean, there's some there's some moments where I'm like, you could have gone somewhere else with this or done something differently. But anywho, so yeah, I was like, so there's 5 sisters.
Oh, God.
No. So yes, I watched a whole Harlan Corbin series on Netflix. It was very good.
Mm-hmm.
That had that one hot guy who was on that one season of MI5, and then he was in that one movie about like the factories in southern London or South England.
Yes.
He did not look good. He was very bedraggled.
Bojangled?
Not bedraggled.
Bedazzled? He was bedazzled.
He was not bedazzled. He was not bedazzled. And I've started. I don't think it's a Harlan Corbin, but I've started another one now, so I'll save that for next time. And then I started reading a new book, and it is so mediocre and conspicuous. It's a romance.
Okay.
That if you ever give up on trying to get your book published, I'm going to punch you in the face because you are 10 times better writer than the Exist book is. Like, it's not bad enough that I've stopped reading it. I thought about it.
Okay.
But I want you to read it so we can just do a book club where we can just talk about how much better you are.
I would be very uncomfortable in that book club.
Well, then maybe that's what we need instead of me texting you every day to tell you something positive.
No.
I'm really glad I got it from the library instead of
paying for it.
Buying it. And then this morning, I wasted time by sliding into the DMs of many of my friends on Instagram with that advertisement you made about our new series with the phrase shameless self-promotion.
Nice. Thank you, friend.
I'll keep doing that with others, but I started with the people who I thought most likely would at least listen to on episode.
On episode. Just put it on mute, yo. Just play it. Let it be on mute.
I know, right? That's also this week I started listening to our podcast.
Okay, good job. Yeah.
Okay, I'm done.
Thank you, business partner. I read a Harlan Coben book.
No.
So I'm trying not to have physical media. And so there was a point where a bunch of people had given me books to read and I had a stack. And I was tired of carrying them around because I always have a stack of stuff to read. And so when you turned me on to, hey, the library has ebooks, I took what I could of the stack, and put it on my watch list or whatever, my saved list for the library. And then I donated all those books. And so that's been on there forever because our dear friend Annie, who passed away a couple years ago, she would randomly give me books. And that was one of the ones that she gave me. She's like, I mean, he's like trash, but I think you'll like it or whatever. And it was very different from what I usually read. And it was very much dialogue driven. And so for an example of how to make the way that I write work in a commercial way, I think it's good. So I might return back to it that way.
Oh, cool.
I also started.
That's why the British like it.
Wait, what?
That must be why the British like him so much.
Yeah, this one wasn't set in England, and it's an older one. It was about a sports guy. Like he did a whole series about a guy, I guess, who like injured himself right when he got into professional sports. And then you find out in this book that actually it was like a paid job and like his friend betrayed him and it was the whole thing. I've been reading Alias Grace because I've been wanting to since I watched the miniseries, and now I just want to rewatch the miniseries. And I watched a cult doc series.
Oh, no.
And I was real sad about it because like one of the girls in the cult is still kind of in the cult. She's like, no, he's still great. I'm like, no. Oh, it makes me really sad. I wasted a lot of time trying to think about bits for this podcast. And I started watching Girls 5 Eva because I'm depressed, so you can tell I'm watching more stuff. And
I tried that, and I was just
that's where the New York Lonely Boys came from.
Is it?
Yeah. Okay.
I watched like 1.5 episodes and was like, no.
It makes me laugh a lot, and I enjoy it. It's okay.
Well, I hate women, so. Just kidding.
Stop. And then last night I finished the miniseries Chernobyl, which I watched because I had heard it was good. And my favorite podcast, the I Saw What You Did podcast, Daniel Henderson, who I admire, has rewatched that miniseries several times and calls it self-care, and then brought it to the podcast through part of her game, Self-Care or Serial Killer, because she thinks that maybe it's her serial killer tendencies that she's rewatching Chernobyl over and over again. Which isn't, I don't know. I mean, I could talk a lot about that series. It was I actually understand how nuclear power works now, so I feel good about that. If nothing else, I'm like,
learn something.
Fission.
Fusion, both?
No, it's fission because they heat it up. It's steam. It's fission. So that was cool. I was like, I got this now. I understand what this means. And yesterday at the acupuncturist, she was saying how she's so impressed by how pragmatic I can be about my uncle's condition and all this. And I'm like, I feel like that's my serial killer tendency, where it's like I just can be sociopathic about things and compartmentalize them. And like everybody else is like, I'm too sad to deal with this. And I'm like, no, let's go.
Someone who doesn't have to interact with you when you get in that space, like I can see how they'd be like, this is cool. Like, wow, you're so efficient. But then those of us with emotions, because then you lose all patience for emotions. Anyone's emotions, which is fun.
I have emotions. I feel like I just process them faster than other people. So then I just get there more quickly, and I'm waiting on everybody else. And I'm like, yeah.
Come on, fat hobbitses.
Yeah. So I have the opposite effect. So our friend Jeff, unfortunately, his little dog Mac is not doing well, and Jeff has to make the hard decision. And he wants to make the selfish decision, which to him is paying money to extend Mac's life, even though it's not going to do any real good, right? Like,
yeah, you texted me and said that the dog was on hospice, and I'm just like, is that a thing?
No,
like,
it's a phrase I came up with.
Okay, I'm like, please don't tell me people are paying to put their pets in hospice care. Like, Oh my
Hospice
God.
is a concept that I
No,
can't.
I know, but we think of it also as a place too. But yeah,
Yeah,
okay,
I mean, really, what I think of is palliative care, right?
yeah.
Like it's the
But I can see
just.
some like fucking stupid rich people with too much
Oh,
money.
well, I'm sure that exists, but that's not what Jeff's doing. I mean, yeah, like basically, it's the point at which you decide, okay, I'm not going to throw more money at this thing. I'm just going to pay to keep it comfortable with drugs and
Yeah,
treats.
which we do with humans,
Yes, yes, but also
no,
with pets, right?
with pets. Yes.
And Jeff's like, I just feel so selfish. And I'm like, I felt selfish because I was like trying to schedule my dog's euthanization around my vacation. Like, I'm
But
like,
you
a
had
serial
been
killer.
no, you'd been thinking about that for months. Like. Well, I mean, it's like with dad. So we had dad's 1 year was this week.
Yeah, it was last
Yeah.
night.
So it was this past week. And, it's like I told Ben, I was like, the saddest part is how unemotional, and I think that it's because we had a lot of time to like you said, like we got to go through those emotions before anybody else did for a variety of reasons, like years before. But so
We were mourning the loss of our father when you were living your best life in 2005 to 2015. But I will say
I'm
that.
not going to say I was living my best life. And that's probably like hence the high level of nostalgia for it. I had a really good time.
Okay.
But I will not stoop to calling it me living my best life.
Sure.
Like, I feel like right now is me living my best life in more ways but anyway, so yes. I've got one other one and it's short.
Oh.
Or were you done?
No,
so yesterday, Elliot started kindergarten camp.
Yay.
Yes, which they were like, and so it starts with a parent meeting that'll be 1 hour. It was 2 hours.
Mm-hmm.
It definitely could have been an email, the whole thing. And my first impression of his new school is that it is way too much white woman energy.
Oh.
Like, just white women everywhere.
Oh.
All white women running that place.
Okay.
Like, and that's fine, but also a lot of white women, like, like frenemy energy amongst the kindergarten teachers. And yeah, like it was like, we need some diversity in here.
Well, he's used to being around a bunch of white women, so he'll fit in.
He is used to being around a bunch of white women, so, but yes, like the principals, like I think there was like one woman of color and she was like a para, so, but only one man. So yay for women in power, women in charge. And then I started thinking about, I was like, and this is probably just how elementary schools are. Like, I'm pretty sure our elementary school was all white women.
Except I remember a bunch of white women.
Yeah. I mean, the principal wasn't. Principal was a dude.
Yeah.
Old Dalton Gregory. Why do I remember my elementary school principal's name?
He's a published author.
Is he really? Good for him.
Mm-hmm.
Still alive?
Yeah, he was on city council with them the last 4 years.
I know he was on city council. So, but anyways, but yeah, Ben and I both were just like, like all of these forms could have been emailed to me, along with all those other forms that you already emailed to me with all of the same information that you're asking me to put on a different form.
What to tell you?
So, National Lampoon's Vacation.
Yeah.
What do you remember?
What do I remember? I remember Christy Brinkley in a bikini or topless, ? I hoped it was the one with the cousin who was stirring the Kool-Aid with her hand, because that made me feel seen, because when we were growing up, all I drank was Kool-Aid, and I recognized that we were definitely more like the country cousins than the city cousins.
We did not use our hand to stir any like Kool-Aid.
No, we used the stir, but just to be clear, we shouldn't have been drinking all that Kool-Aid.
You know how that makes you serve yourself cereal too, don't you? He's having that big old bag of malto meal, like
straight up handed. I put grandma on the roof ? I felt like there was
I
a
also
grandma.
thought grandma on the roof.
Yeah, that's because she was. So
Yeah,
we
but
were
it was
right.
aunt, but yeah.
And then I was like, Wally World? And then I was confused because the subtitles kept spelling Wally World with an E. But then when they sang the song, I thought they spelled it without an E. And then at the end, they showed the sign and it was with an E. So I was just confused and annoyed about that. So that's what I got from memories. I feel like we didn't watch this one that much, but it did remind me of Dad a lot. How about you? What you got?
I had Chevy Chase, not Madeline Kahn,
Oh, okay.
because the actress who played Ellen is not Madeline Kahn, but she's got some similarities.
Beverly D'Angelo. She's short.
Yeah. Blonde.
Sure.
Pointy. She's kind of whispery voice.
Yeah.
Moose.
Mm-hmm.
Wally World. Different kid in every movie. Different like actors playing their kids in every movie.
Yeah.
I put Rusty and ... I wrote Kim Basinger. It was not Kim Basinger. It was Christy Brinkley. Pool/car. John Candy. Wally World clothes. Dead grandmother ? And station wagon.
Good job. That's pretty much it, right?
That's the whole fucking movie. So see you next week. Thanks for joining us. Oh, wait, no. One big thing we forgot. Rampant misogyny.
I don't know that I would call it rampant misogyny.
It was fucking rampant, dude. Like, okay, we can talk about it.
Not okay, tell me misogyny.
Let's see. The entire character of Clark Griswold. Like, fragile masculinity.
Okay, fragile masculinity, yes.
Spends the entire movie kind of trying to cheat on his wife.
He spends the entire
definitely gaslights her.
Okay.
She absolutely, like, the fact that she like sees him trying to cheat on her and then basically ends up having sex with him after that.
Yeah, that was definitely
like, are you fucking kidding me?
Yeah.
Like, the whole treatment of the aunt. Like, I don't know, that might not be misogynist.
That might not misogyny.
That's just straight up psychopath. Forgets his daughter's name, never actually talks to his daughter. Like, just the whole thing with Christy Brinkley. Yeah, like, pretty, like, it's, yeah. Okay, maybe rampant might be, like, too big a word, but
I feel like misogyny is too big a word. I mean, he was just an asshole.
Hey, way to normalize it, Heather.
And an idiot. You're so mad.
I am mad.
The postcards in the beginning, I really wanted to go to all the kitschy hotels and motels that they showed.
You know, I loved that. Like, you know, that whole the Americana BS nostalgia roadside attraction postcard opening. You know, I loved that because, like, I still want to go on a road trip where we just stop at every like sign that's like something happened here.
Yep, but we have GPS.
I know. That was one thing I put. I was like, God, can you imagine traveling before the internet? Like,
I mean, it wouldn't be hard, but you need to actually know what you're doing and pay attention. I mean, I don't know. It's just a poorly written movie. The only parts that were really funny in it were the improv parts, which means that the writing is bad. Like,
John Hughes wrote the screenplay.
I know.
I'm really glad he stopped doing that. He's not funny. This movie's not funny.
No, it's not. It's not at all. And it's like the things that, like, I feel like Christmas Vacation is funny. Like, I would actually call that a funny movie, but this one is just not.
Yeah.
And
like, I don't remember if European is funny. Like I would have to rewatch it to be like, I mean, I remember it more, but I don't remember if it's funny or not.
I don't remember it more. Is that the one where they get stuck in the roundabout?
Yeah. There's Big Ben. There's Big Ben. Like I remember that, and I remember they go to like the family, like the German family, but it's the wrong address.
Oh, okay.
And then like at the beginning, he takes like a nude video of his wife dancing, and then they get his camcorder stolen, and then like pictures of her like everywhere.
Yeah, that's. Would you like to know something interesting about Beverly D'Angelo?
Sure.
She is straight up Italian. Like,
like from it.
Like, I don't think she's from Italy, but she's like second generation. She cannot get cast. She could never get cast in Italian roles because she's blonde.
Yeah.
Hollywood would be like, Italians aren't blonde. She's like, I am Italian. I just think it's fascinating.
Americans are stupid.
I also think that just like the fact that Beyonce got cheated on, the fact that Kylie Minogue got cheated on, Beverly D'Angelo getting cheated on, I don't understand the point of monogamy and heterosexual relationships. Like, I don't get it. I don't understand why anyone tries to participate in this. Like, I get that it works. It works for some people, but it really seems like it doesn't work for a lot of people. And I'm not sure why we're still trying it. Like, just seems like a bad plan.
I mean, I don't know. Like, maybe other people just enjoy sex more. But, you know, because like I always go through this with my students when they find out Ben and I aren't married, and they're like, well, how do you know he's not gonna, I mean, like that question, like, how do you know he's not gonna cheat on you? And I'm like,
what is marriage guarantee?
Exactly. Like, and also go ahead.
Well,
like, I mean, not go ahead, but like just tell me, like, you know what I mean? Like, if you want to fuck someone else, like, you know, or let's talk about it. Or if you want to be with someone else, go be with someone, you know what I mean? Like, well,
it's that thing in Bedazzled where it's like, everybody acts like, you know, my husband could murder someone and I would stay at his defense. But if he cheats on me, it's over. It's like, there's so many different ways to portray a person.
Yeah.
Cheating on someone there's more than one way to cheat on them. I mean, it just becomes this obsessive thing. I don't know.
Yeah. Did I ever tell you about the conversation I had with mom about this? About dad? Like, if dad cheated? Okay.
Yeah.
And that for her, it was emotional. Like, having a relationship with someone would hurt her more than just having sex with someone. So, I think if I found out he went to someone else's house and actually closed their kitchen cabinets, that would be what would piss me off.
So our neighbors came over on the anniversary and brought flowers and were all nice and talking to us and whatever. And it was like, that was the day that I decided I was going to start intermittent fasting again. And they showed up like 10 minutes before the end of my food window, and I had made dinner and it was almost ready. I was like sitting there like, I need to eat, I need to eat, I need to eat. And I should have just eaten because they're our neighbors. Yeah, but then we were talking and they asked me how it went with Eddie and whatever. And I said, well, you know, I started to get worried as we got closer to the trip, because I remembered when we went to Denver with Dad, he was driving us crazy because we'd go to the bathroom and then be like, okay, we're going to meet here. And then we'd all come out of the bathroom and motherfucker would not be there, would not be anywhere, would not answer his goddamn cell phone. Like, son of a bitch. And they were like, oh yeah, I remember you were really angry about that. And I'm like, I don't understand why you think we're unreasonable for being angry about this. Like,
or like when he wandered off from the actual wedding party and decided to walk his stone drunk ass to the door
down the mountain. Yeah. To go get
get cigars.
Without telling anyone.
Telling anyone. Didn't tell anyone where he went. We had to like deduce this because he asked a bartender at the reception where the closest convenience store was. So we had to go play detectives.
And then go get him. His mom was like, he's going to fall off the mountain. And we brought that up.
He was going to get arrested for public.
Well, that too.
Yeah.
And we brought that up, and they were just like, we still don't understand why you're upset with him. And I'm like,
he's just being Mark. Like, not isolated incidents, motherfuckers.
he was a narcissistic.
Icing on the shit cake, cherry on the shit sundae.
Oh, and yes, he was also my father.
Which is
Were
very
they-
much Clark W. Griswold.
Well, yeah, at the beginning, were they just wiping dirty plates and putting them away? Because that's what it looked like they were doing. It literally looked like she was scraping food off the plate into the trash, and then she handed him the plate, and then he wiped it with a towel and put it back in the pantry.
Maybe that was just another nod to what we were just talking about how fucking useless men are. That's like, even when they help, they don't help.
Ellen singing so loudly made me so happy. It's like, go girl, you sing.
Oh my God.
My favorite thing to do in the car.
With all the fucking, Underground Railroad songs, like
Railroad songs.
well, I've been listening to this book about the Black history of America. So it's like
Yes,
the Black AF history of America.
Yes.
And I'm just trying to work through the language to not essentialize people of color in the United States prior to 1865 as, quote unquote, just the group of slaves. So, but can I tell you this?
Yeah.
Big River.
Yeah, I love it.
I was like, oh no, we do that.
Yeah, but we don't do most of what they did, so I didn't feel too bad.
No, that's probably the only thing we do. Yeah. Also, why does that brand new car not have a radio? Like,
well, I think that was more like, this is all based on a short story that he wrote for a trip that happened in 1958. And in 1958, there were probably a lot of places where they couldn't get radio.
Radio reception.
And also, it costs money to get royalties to have music that is contemporary.
True. Okay, fine. Have you ever been on a coin-operated bed in a motel room?
No, but I was thinking that movies are so much better now that boobs aren't mandatory.
See? Rampant misogyny.
That's not. I think you're over applying the word misogyny. I just want to say.
Rampant
objectification of women is not necessarily misogyny. I just.
Okay, fine. I was once on a mechanical operated bed in a motel room.
Why?
Do you remember that friend I had in middle school who then had a baby at 16?
No, but okay.
You don't remember that
lower
socioeconomic Kool-Aid stirring, hand stirring friend? She was my best friend.
No, I don't.
Anyway, so she had a birthday party in 8th grade at a motel. Her parents got a motel room at a CD motel near like the interstate.
Mm-hmm.
And so we had a slumber party at this CD motel that had a mechanical coin slot operated bed.
Nothing like cousins to introduce you to sex and drugs, huh?
To do what?
Nothing like cousins to introduce you to sex and drugs.
I don't think we had that experience, nor were we those cousins.
No, but I can see that it's happening.
Yes, it does. Mm-hmm. Also, nothing like a good child molestation joke.
Yeah, no, that was not great.
Yeah.
I don't know. When, we talked about the cheating. I was real mad about the black guy getting treated like a dog. That was not cute at all.
Yeah, I didn't enjoy that. I think the best thing in this movie was when they got lost in downtown St. Louis.
Why? Because they got messed with?
Yes.
Okay.
The rest of it was completely racist as fuck.
Yeah.
But when the guy was like, I don't know, I don't live here. I'm visiting from the west side of Chicago. And like they left their car up and took their money and like the end of that scene. But yeah, the rest of it was super racist.
Yeah, this movie is real dumb.
Yeah.
I do want to say, I know that social media is probably terrible, but the internet is great because you don't drive halfway across the country to find out that your destination is closed.
See, that's what I mean. Like, right?
What?
But I feel like even then you could have called. Like, you wouldn't have called and bought tickets. Like, you didn't.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't even think it's just like, it's just terrible planning.
Yeah.
Which just totally goes, he's like, I've planned this at the beginning. He's like, I've planned this trip out like carefully, which totally made me think of you and our, trip to London. But you had actually planned it. Like we went there, not before the internet, but before smartphones.
Yeah.
And like, we didn't show up anywhere and it was like, and we're closed.
I'm no Clark Russell. I mean, our grandmother used to plan road trips like down to we're stopping here and this is what we're eating and all that. So
yeah,
it's possible.
Yeah. Like maps and
yeah.
But how did you know? But I think that was just because they always went the same place.
Yeah.
And so it's not like she knew what restaurants were going to be there.
They didn't stop at restaurants.
Oh shit! No, they like had like dog pizza sandwiches.
Yeah,
that's true. Okay, yeah, no, I guess that's true. But where did they stay? They just camped the whole time?
I guess they camped. Yeah, I don't know. That was the other thing about them. They had all that luggage on top of their car in this movie. It was like every single time they stopped, they had to take all that fucking luggage inside. Like, no.
Yeah. Also, what was in the back end of the station wagon?
The great question. Because it wasn't the dog and it wasn't the ant, so...
And it wasn't the luggage.
And it wasn't the luggage. So, yeah, who knows?
Yeah, this is just...
It was warm bottles of white wine.
Oh, my God.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure both those children later on developed drug and drinking problems.
I love that, like, you're still... I, like, totally put my notebook
over. Trying to see if there's anything else. Oh, why does that girl have a purse? Other than to put her weed in?
Well, and her tampons.
Oh.
What is that girl? Even I carried a purse at that age. Like...
Well, that's what I was thinking. Like, what did I put in my purse? Like, what the... I can remember being like, like even now when I try to carry a purse, I'm like, you just put shit in it because otherwise there'd be nothing in it because I carry like a little wallet and keys and a phone.
Yeah. I don't carry a purse anymore.
No, I don't carry a purse anymore either.
I carried... well, I used to carry pictures of people. Remember? Before we had phones that had photos.
I don't think I ever carried pictures of people.
Oh, your friends didn't like swap pictures with you and why you look so confused. Yeah. I also would carry like little comic strips that I thought were funny. I'd carry those with me.
Okay, Mom.
I also tore out perfume for Meg. Oh wait, no, that was Mom.
Tore out recipes that I was never gonna make and stuck in drawers. Like a fucking drawer, a whole goddamn drawer full of recipes pulled out from magazines. Like a whole drawer, people. Never made a fucking one of them. I'm surprised she's not a hoarder. So one thing Elliot did
has a big house, so you can't tell.
Yeah. So the other day, Saturday, I was driving Elliot down to the farm, and when we go to the farm, we cross the Kentucky River between Fayette and Madison County. And I don't know why, but this time when we were driving over the river, he lifted his arms, both arms above his head, like he was riding on a roller coaster.
Oh, okay.
And like kept them up there. And I was like, what? Why, honey? What? Did not get an answer.
Yeah.
But it sure did make me think about that time you tried to hold your breath going past the cemetery.
I was going to wonder if we were going to talk about any of our road trips.
Our experiences.
The
Yeah.
first time I ever flew, I was 21. So
Yeah. I
definitely-
was 18.
Yeah.
So
definitely anytime we went anywhere, it was in a car.
Oh, 100%. Yeah. I can remember when we were going down to South Padre, which like we were older.
Mhm.
And I remember going to Pick and Save or something, like, and looking for things to entertain us in the car. Coloring books and activity books and things like that so that we wouldn't fight and murder each other. I don't know what they did when we went to Colorado because we were really young then. So we probably didn't fight then.
We probably fought less. Sure. Yeah.
Yeah. So God knows how they entertained us for that bullshit. Food. Put food in your mouth.
Dad would tell us stories about Wild Bill.
Oh my God, Wild Bill. Yep.
And then he'd beat on the tent and pretend to be Wild Bill, or he'd wait and then roll his window down and beat on the top of the car and pretend to be Wild Bill. And
Wild Bill's throwing rocks at us.
scare the shit out of us.
Yep. Then he'd tell us a story and then be like, oh, I gotta go pee. And then like come and beat on the tent right behind us.
Mhm.
And then mom would go, Mark.
Mark! We had to go to Marlin, Texas a lot as children to go see our grandparents with our mother. And we had one tape, and it was Patsy Cline's Greatest Hits.
We didn't have one tape. That was just the one that we all would agree, like, could listen and sing to. I enjoyed that. I liked singing Patsy Cline.
Oh, no, I like it too. I have a very fond memories of that.
Yeah. I don't remember any other tapes, so I see why you think we had one.
Mm-hmm. I know we had Paul Simon's Graceland on tape. I know we had that too at some point.
Did we? Okay. I mean, I remember CDs they bought when Dad started buying CDs, but I don't remember a lot of the cassette or cassette tape collections that we had. And you had your cassette, your mixtapes or whatever.
Oh yeah, my mixtapes or whatever.
Recording off the radio, or I don't even remember what all, and putting the tape over them so you could record over them again.
Yep.
Gotta love a mixtape. Gotta love a mixtape.
You had to like roll it back by hand just a little bit so that you didn't have the gap between the songs. It's an art.
I was gonna say, can we please close the state of Florida?
Florida, you need to sit and think about what you've done.
Yeah. No, Florida doesn't close. They don't close. Like, but could we? Could we close the state of Florida?
Did somebody annex it? Just take it back.
Yeah, I feel like it was a lot of excessive police force for some people riding some rides.
Yeah, but that felt a little true to LA. I mean, their SWAT team is a bit
Overzealous.
Indeed.
Yeah, I did love the play on Disney, and that's all I got. Yeah, this movie was fucking terrible and never gonna watch it again.
That's pretty bad.
That's it for this week of I Love You But.
Join us next week when we discuss Shag, a fun movie that we both actually really like.
I'm making Elliot watch this one.
Somehow, well, we'll see, because you're going to be here on Saturday, and then we got to record, and then we got to do stuff, and then we got to edit. So we're going to figure that out, but that's boring too. So what made you laugh? What made you cringe? What did we forget? What should we talk about in future episodes? We want to know your thoughts. Find us on Instagram and Threads at I Love You But Pod, or email us at iloveyoubutpod@gmail.com. Listener email and comments may turn up in future episodes. I've noticed some listeners in the UK, so hey, y'all.
We like your culture.
Hey, governor.
We really like your media.
I'll try not to do any accents, and you should keep listening. Be sure to rate, review, and follow I Love You But wherever you get your podcasts. Thank you for listening. I'm Heather.
I'm Ryan, and we wish you lots and lots of conditional love.